We move on to question number 2. It is to multiply binomials using distributive property and the FOIL method. I'm sure by now we know what is FOIL. It is first terms, outer terms, inner terms, and last terms. We'll look into a couple of problems. Here you can see there is only one variable, in the sense C is the only one variable, G is the only one variable, and so on. So what you can do is, I will teach you the calculator method, which is a bit long one, but this first one is most important because you need to learn this anyways. Otherwise, it's not going to work out. You have to know this method. In the future, you really require this FOIL method. So what you do over here is start with this term and multiply this term, since it's both 3 and C, multiply this to the first term in the other bracket and the second term in the other side. Next, you need to use the next term with the sign. Now the first term sign is plus over here, the second is negative. So with the sign, negative 5 multiplied with C and with 3. This is what happens. So now when you write it out, 3C times C would be 3C squared, because you're multiplying this term with the first term here. And you just write plus, doesn't matter what the sign is, then you can put the bracket if it's negative. Just write plus between them. Once you multiply a term, this is important to write plus. Then 3C times 3 would be 9C. That is done. Again plus. Now negative 5 times C, it will be minus 5C. See, I'm using a bracket because it's minus. And lastly, again it will be a plus. Minus 5 times 3 would be negative 15. If you practice a lot, then you can directly write this negative, but it's better to write plus between all the terms so you won't be confused. And whatever the answer you get, write it as it is. If it's minus, use brackets. If it's plus, write it out. Now I will rearrange these. It will be 3C squared plus 9C minus 5C minus 15. You can see there is two terms with the same variable C and C. That means it is 3C. 9 minus 5. We did it in the last question. What would happen if the same variables are there? Simplify them. It is going to be 4 plus 4C, because plus 9 minus 5 minus 15. This would be the ultimate answer. It's 3C squared plus 4C minus 15. With practice, you can do it directly. Now I will do this, with 2 steps you can solve it. So this arrows and these two. So it will be 2G power 2 minus 5G plus 20G and minus 50. What did I do? First, G times 2G is 2G squared. G times minus 5 is minus 5G. 10 times 2G is 20G. And lastly, plus 10 and minus 5 would be, when you product them, minus 50. Now it's not over. Your options will be always generally 3 terms. They'll simplify this. So it is 2G squared plus 15G minus 50. This is the FOIL method, and this is how you do it. So now, this is the actual method. I would highly suggest everyone to do this method. But I'll tell you a shortcut method. Imagine you somehow didn't, somehow you couldn't do this in exam. Now, basically, this term, given question, and the answer what we got is equal to each other. So use your calculator and then you can easily find out the correct answer. Now, this, whatever you do, FOIL method, this is equal to, the given question is equal to this simplified answer. So whatever C value was there, it should be balanced over here and over here. Now imagine, this is the question, right? I'll type it out over here. 3, but instead of C, I will consider a value. You can choose any value, but don't choose 1 and 0. It's better you choose something like 1.5. I generally go with 1.5. So what I do is I'll just 1.5, 2, 2.5, anything. Okay, even one you will get, but there are some cases where you may not get. So just to avoid that possibility altogether, I go with the decimal point 1.5. I write instead of C, I'll just write over here the C value is 1.5. Okay, C is considered to be 1.5. Now here instead of C, I just put 1.5 plus minus 5, close the bracket, multiply it with C is again 1.5 plus 3. Now between the brackets it's multiplication because we are finding the product of each other. If even if you don't put or you put, it's the same thing. You can see it's the same answer. Okay, if you want you can just write it over here as it is and just put the C value, or you can write multiplication. It's up to you. So what is the answer we got? We got negative 9 by 4. This is the given question. Okay, this is important. You have four options, isn't it? What you need to do is substitute the same C value, not anything else, the exact same C value in all the four options. And then only one option will give you the correct answer. Now let me try this. 3 multiplied by minus, sorry, what's the answer? 1.5. 1.5 square. And one more thing, don't use negative signs. It may not be an issue, but it can be an issue because sometimes square and this that it'll be a problem. So just take 1.5 all the time. I just do that and it'll work no matter what. And over here just put 1.5. Wherever C is there, put 1.5. I put 3, 1.5 squared plus 4 times 1.5 minus 15. The answer will and should be the answer what you got with the question. Here what happens is you will have to do the same thing 4 times because there are 4 options. If you're lucky enough, if you get the first or second option, yeah, it's okay. But otherwise you must try for all the 4 options, okay? You cannot get 2 answers correct. If there are 2 answers correct, that means both are equivalent. Okay, so that doesn't make sense. So when you simplify this, there is only one answer that must be equivalent. If another answer is equivalent, that's a wrong. There's wrong options. So don't worry, it should be only one correct answer. You can try this elsewhere as well, or you can do the FOIL method. You can see the answers we are in step as well in details. All these are by FOIL method. What we can do is we'll just do one more time calculator method. You need to have the answers. Okay, this looks big. Let me try this one. I'll just choose n to be 1.5 and I'll solve it up. 7 into 1.5 minus 6. Close the bracket and again open the bracket. It'll be 7 into 1.5 minus 6. It's basically squaring them. You can use the identity a minus b the whole square and solve it easily. But anyways, that's the thing. We got 81 by 4. So n value, the variable value is 1.5 and the answer I got was 81 by 4. Search all the 4 options. Only one option should give you the correct answer. Now, let me just double check this. Yes, it's all right. Now all I do is put this answer over here for, sorry, not like that. 49 multiplied with 1.5 square minus 84 into 1.5 plus 36. The answer must and should be 81 by 4. I'll just try somewhere else, like say this one over here, another. If I put over there 1.5 square plus 19 into 1.5 plus 15, it'll be a different, everything will be unique. But now if I put this 1.5 over here, you will see that it is equivalent to this one over here. This and this should match, okay, provided I have put everything correctly. If you're just be double sure that everything is put correctly, okay? That's very important because you miss one sign instead of minus or plus, then you won't get it right. So this is how you can easily solve this type of question, this type of problems. So please make sure you solve more and more. it's better to learn the method which we use, the FOIL method. You can see all the detailed solutions. You can pause and check it out. Very important, just learn the detailed method. I'll put the arrows over here once again. Just remember, it's always the first term with the first term here, first term with the outer terms there, first and last. Then here, second with the first over here, inner terms, and the outermost terms are last and last terms. So this is how we do it. And now we have some real world problems. Let's quickly go through them. The dimension of a playground are represented by width of 9x plus 5 feet and a length of 5x minus 2 feet. Write an expression that represents the area of the playground. You have length and width. What is the area? Area is length into width. So basically you have to multiply them both, 9x plus 1 multiplied with 5x minus 2. Even over here you can use your calculator method. Consider x to be one variable, one constant, 1.5. Substitute over here and check all the 4 answers. You must get the same answer. But now I'll do this manually. 9 times 5 is 45x squared minus 18x plus 5x minus 2. We can simplify this. 45x squared minus 13x minus 2. And that would be the answer. The final answer would be that. So even over here, just make sure you put a variable. I will just show you once because I'm considering x as 1.5 plus 1 into 5x, that is over here again 1.5 minus 2, close the bracket. What is the answer? It is 319 by 4. The same answer must be obtained over here. I'll just quickly do it. 5 into 1.5 squared minus 13 into 1.5 minus 2. It should be 319 by 4 and it's the same thing. That's the answer. That's over here. And the same thing goes over here as well. The loft theater has a center seating section with 3C plus 8 rows and 4C minus 1 seats in each row. So each row has so many seats and so many rows in total. Write an expression for the total number of seats. So each row, you know how many seats, right? It's basically like this. Each row has so many seats. Imagine there are, 12 seats, okay? Now you're telling there are 5 rows. So how do you find it? 12, or you can just do 12 into 5. That's it. So multiply them both and you will get the answer. So multiply these two. It's mainly about multiplying, binomials. So obviously you have to multiply those two and you will get the answer. You can do the calculator method to check as well over here. Same thing goes over here. Try pausing the videos now. There are only few more problems. Pausing the video and doing it yourself and then continuing it. Now here it is, suppose a rectangular quilt made up of squares has length to width ratio of 5 to 4. The length of the quilt is 5x inches. The quilt can be made slightly larger by adding a border 1 inch square all the way around the perimeter of the quilt. Write a polynomial expression for the area of the larger quilt. Here you need to think differently. You need to understand the problems because it's not that straightforward. Okay, why? Because they have not given two variables. They have just given the length. Length is 5x. Okay, we have one part. They have told to find the area, right? Write the polynomial area. So area is equal to length into breadth, but there are so many other things. The ratio, what is the ratio? Length to width ratio. So length by width is equal to 5 by 4. So now, if this is 5x, length is 5x, then width will be 4x. Why? Because they have told it's 5 by 4. So this is the thing. Okay, you can use cross multiplication, but the best and the simpler way would be, because I've already mentioned it's 5 to 4. So 5 by 4, 5x and 4x. So now we know length is 5x, width is 4x. But this is also not over. What next? You have to understand they have told this part that what is that perimeter. Okay, now let's understand what is a perimeter. So imagine this is a rectangle. Perimeter is all the sides. See this running sides everywhere, all the four sides. Okay, if you add all the four sides, you'll get the perimeter. Now here, very important to know, if you add one all the way around to the perimeter, it's not one or two, one side or two sides, all the way around. That means one over here, one here, one here, one here. Length is how much? Length is given as 5x. This has been added. It's increased by 1 and 1. So 1 plus 1. It will be 1 plus 5x plus 1. And what about the width? It is 4x, but you know there is 1 added up and down, right? So it will be 1 plus 4x plus 1. So basically the length will be 5x plus 2. This is 4x plus 2. Now what happens is basically you found the sides length width, so use this 5x plus 2 times 4x plus 2 and then you multiply this to get the answer. I'll repeat quickly. The ratios is given as 5 by 4. So now if we know length is 5x, then the width will be 4x because they have to be in the same ratio. They have mentioned it over here. And then they have told the perimeter has been added by 1 throughout. So length will be added by 1 and 1, width will be added by 1 and 1, and that's the most important thing. So you can directly do length 5x. They have told just 1 inch square, okay? So both the sides 1 would be 2. Directly you can write it. And the width 4x plus 2. And then you can multiply. Now multiplying, you know, you can use the shortcut method as well. You can try it over here and you will get the same thing. Okay, so it's most important 5x plus 2 times 4x plus 2, which will give you this answer. Now if you consider x to be 1.5, you can check both will be the same. We move on to the next one, and just remember they have mentioned it's inch squares, so it is not centimeter or meter squares, it's inches squared. Okay, the dimension. Here, the US flag is sometimes folded into a triangle shape and displayed in a triangular display case. If a display case has dimensions shown in inches, over here you can see the dimensions. Write a polynomial expression that represents the area of the wall space covered by the display case. Okay. So now this is the object which we have. This is a shape, sorry, it's a triangular shape. Now you can see the base is x plus 5. And over here we have the height of x minus 5 by 2. But do we just multiply these two? Is that it? No, you need to remember the area is given as half base, that is x plus 5, into height, that is x minus 5 by 2. Now we need to basically multiply this to get it. Okay, now I will do the shortcut calculator method and let's check it, because we will assume x to be 1.5 and let's try it out in the answer. Also we must have the same thing. You will have 4 options for this question 2, that's why. Let's quickly do it. It'll be half 1 by 2 multiplied with x is 1.5 plus 5, close the bracket, multiplied with x, that is 1.5 minus 5 by 2 or 2.5, and then close the bracket. The answer is negative 13 by 4. Just write it down over here. It's minus 13 by 4. Now we will look into the answer because we should have the 4 options, otherwise we can't do the shortcut method. Here just substitute x as 1.5 now. So first part is 1.5 square divided by 2 plus 5 by 4 into 1.5, and lastly we have minus 25 divided by 4. The answer is negative 13 by 4, and that was the, yeah, that's the same thing. It must be the same, otherwise you won't be able to. So this is how we can easily get it, and only one option will have the same answer. Whichever gives you the same answer is your solution. That's the thing. It's again, we mentioned it's an inches, inches square. Now we have, okay, number theory. Think a whole number. Okay, fine. Let's say, let's do this. It's like a trick question, like, I mean, how, let's imagine, let's think about a whole number. We can take, say, 5. Subtract 5 and write down the answer by 2, sorry. So 5 minus 2 is 3. Take the original number and add 2, okay? It is 7. Write down this number. Find the product of these numbers you wrote down. Okay, let's multiply them. 7 times 3 is 21. Now, subtract the square, once again, square of the original number. Okay, you need to take the original number now. The original number is 5, and we need to square it. That will be 25. 5 square is 25. Subtract the square from the original number. Okay, the square, whatever we got, subtract the square of the original number, minus 25. What is the answer? It's minus 4. The result is always negative 4. Use the polynomial to show the number, how this trick works. So you can ask your friends, think about a whole number, any whole number, and then subtract 2, add 2, multiply these two numbers. And now, what was the original number which we chose? Okay, any number, it can be 10, 15, 20, and tell them to minus, and it'll be the answer. I'll do it again. Like, let me assume, say, for example, um, 3. Okay, subtract 2, it'll be 1. Subtract 2, it'll be, add 2, it'll be 4. Sorry, 5. Now multiply these both, will be 5 times 1 is 5. Now square this, it'll be 9. Minus 9, answer is minus 4. It'll always be minus 4. Now let's do the polynomial equation, and you'll easily understand why it is so. I'm not sure how exactly they will ask this question in the MCQ. It's a writing question, to be honest, because you have to prove it. Anyways, you have to just tell yes, it's always true, I guess, if they ask. But I think so the other questions will be asked, not this one. Now here, imagine, let's consider x to be the assumed number, x, okay? Subtract 2 means x minus 2. Add 2 means x plus 2, isn't it? And then we have to multiply these both. But then, this is multiplication. But then after we multiply this, we have to subtract it by the original number. Minus original number was x square. Okay, x minus 2, x plus 2. X can be anything, that's fine. But as long as you add and subtract 2, what happens? Multiply this. From the rule of, x minus 2, a plus b, a minus b, the formula is x square minus 4, right? Or if I just do FOIL method, I'll get the same answer. You have the identity over here, but let's do the FOIL method. It'll be x squared plus 2x minus 2x minus 4. Okay, minus x squared is also there again. Now here, what happens? Plus 2x minus 2x is 0. Plus x squared minus x squared is 0. What is the answer? Minus 4 remains. So here, the answer will always be minus 4 in such case. So that's basically it. That's the answer over here. And you can see, that's how we do it. And because they have already told it's minus 4, we have to get the answer minus 4, and we will get equal to minus 4. Okay. And now again we have product problems. It's the same thing. It's just that there are 3 terms here, many terms. The FOIL method still stays the same. All you need to do is multiply here like this, and then here, here, and here. Okay, and you will get the answer. But you can do the shortcut method as we had discussed. I'll do for one over here. It is y, sorry, not n over here. Y equals 1.5. Just assume it. And now just do it. Substitute over here, instead of y 1.5, close the bracket, sorry, minus 11. Now close the bracket, and then what do you have? It's 1.5 square minus 3 into 1.5 plus 2, close the bracket. The answer is 2. And then now check for the answer over here. Let's substitute over here and check. So I'll just double check whether I substituted everything correct. Plus 2, yes, minus, yes, this is correct. Now we will do the answer. whereas the y value, assumed value was 1.5, so that remains the same, minus 17 into 1.5 squared plus 37 into 1.5 minus 22. Okay, now just put the answer, it's 2 itself. And if you're thinking why I'm taking 1.5, don't take 1. If because you have calculated, that's the only reason I'm taking 1.5. Otherwise, I would have taken a whole number like 2 or something. It's really hard to calculate. But since you are using calculator, it's very easy to do this. Okay. So similarly, you can try all the other problems. Very straightforward. Please do it by yourselves. Make sure if there are 3, it's the same thing. Just multiply it accordingly. The first term with first, then it goes second, and then it goes third. This second term also like this, and then lastly here. It's going to take a long time. So if it's such problems, I would highly encourage you to do the calculator method, because easy to substitute, and this is the same answer. Then check with the 4 options, okay, because over here if you miss one term or something when you calculate or add, it'll be wrong. So calculator method is much easier over here. So please do try solving more and more problems, and you can see all the detailed solutions here. And that's the end of the question number 2. I hope it was helpful. If you have any doubts, do post them in the comments, and try to explore the calculator method as well and solve more problems. If it is simple problem, do remember to do the FOIL method, the manual method, by drawing the lines. If it's very huge problem, then go with the calculator method.